G'day guys, something that's not really car related, but found this old Primus flamethrower, as I'd call it. Used to be very prevalent back in the day, probably still are a few around, newer types, but I think they all run on butane or something like this, but this was primarily a Kero device, or run on kerosene, or whatever flammable liquid, I think. And of course it was for heating up like soldering irons, and you had the little holder like that, and you put that in front of the flame like that and hope that it would you know, heat it up for you. So yeah, we might even I'll just focus in down on the, still can see the label quite well. So yeah, might even put a bit of kerosene in it and fire it up and see what happens. Alright, now I've gone into the shed and found the necessary ingredients to make flame or fire. We might put some in the device and try it out and see how we go. So yeah, should be interesting, see if it still works. I can't see any reason why it shouldn't. If it doesn't, I could blow myself up, but you know, things happen. We'll wait and see. Okay, so I have poured just a little bit of kerosene in there. Whoop, spills a little bit, but never mind. I'll move that away. And then I think put the cap back on. Like that, and then I believe down in that little depression there we add some methylated spirits. So yeah, it's a bit hard to do it one-handed, so I'll put the camera down and I'll start filming when it's doing its thing. Okay, I've put the methylated spirits on there and lit the flame. So we just got to wait for it to heat up a bit, and then I think we start pumping, and yeah, eventually we should get a big flame out of here with some fairly intense heat, I think, from memory. So yeah, just wait for that to do whatever it's going to do. Okay, we've got a fire-breathing dragon now. It's heated up quite well. I've given a few strokes on the pump at the back of the handle, and you can see it's squirting out kerosene. It's getting a bit out of control, but it'll be all right once it gets going. But yeah, I don't know if I'm doing this right or wrong. Probably I'll get yelled at by somebody and say, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." But hey, it's a bit of fun, and you can. I can see the Kero squirting out there, so it might have a little bit too much pressure. I might have pumped it up just a little bit too much, so I think I've got to release the valve just a little bit. But yeah, it's starting to do what it's, well, how I remember it used to do things. So yeah, it might actually be all right. I think, yep, here it goes. It's going into more of the blowtorch flame. There, as you can see. I don't know how old it'd be, but I suppose it'd be a few years old. I haven't seen one for ages, but I remember my dad playing around with this as a small child, and yeah, was always fascinated by it, you know. And of course the thing was, once you got it to that, then you put your little iron there to heat up, and once that was heated up, then you could do some soldering and stuff. So yeah, well, I think you can hear it really firing up now, and it's getting a bit of a blue flame. So yeah, I think I've done it right. And from memory, that little valve just underneath the filler cap there is the air release. So if you want to turn it off, you just open that up and it lets air in and takes away the pressure, and yeah, blows itself out, sort of thing. So yeah, we'll have a bit more of a play with it. Alright, I've just added one of the irons to it and see how long it takes to heat it up. And I was also just reminded then that I think painters used to use this type of thing too for stripping paint off things. So yeah, bit of history. Like I said, something a bit different to cars, but yeah, the wind's blowing a bit strong that way, so I'll put it the way the wind is, and yeah, as you can see, we'll wait a few minutes and see when it heats up the iron. Okay, so that's been on there for a few minutes. Not sure if it's hot enough yet. I think sometime you have to remember when it turned green or something like that. I sort of remember something like that, but like I said, haven't touched one of the, or seen anything like this in use for a very, very long time. So yeah, kind of interesting anyway. Probably bored stiff, but it's yeah, something that people used to use quite prevalently before electric things and butane gas and all the rest of it. But yeah, it seems to be working quite well, and I've only pumped it up I think once, twice maybe, and yeah, it's keeping the pressure pretty well. So yeah, it still works very, very nicely. Alright, we might take it off. We've got some solder or roller solder here, and I might just take it off if I can get it off there, and just see. Oh yeah, it's getting hot. So yeah, as you can see, it's hot enough to melt some lead, and of course that's how people used to solder up their gutters and things like that before silicon, so I believe. Alright, so now we've done all the playing. Now to turn it off, I think I just got to turn that little valve there, and that lets air in, and there it is, all extinguished. So there we have it. So there was a quick demonstration of a Primus blowtorch, made in Sweden. Interesting. But what's it say? Kerosene, paraffin. So yeah, you can use anything that's pretty well flammable, but not too flammable. Alright guys, I just thought I'd show you this bit of interesting footage and see what you think. If you like it, please leave a like or even comment about it. See if you guys remember one. It'd be interesting to know who may have had one of these and whether they're still readily available. I don't know anything. I think there are some tip cleaners that you use to clean the nozzle every now and again, because it must get built up with a bit of gunk and that. But as I said, it's a bit of something of a relic in my eyes anyway. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers for now.